Thank you for plugging into this Family Life News podcast, streaming issues-driven, family-focused news.
This is Family Life Hometowns, a chance to get to know the stories behind the cities, towns, villages, and burgs that make up the Family Life listening area. We take a look at their history and learn what makes them special. Today, we spotlight Hammondsport, New York. Situated at the south end of Cayuga Lake in Steuben County, the village of Hammondsport is just northeast of Bath in the town of Urbana. It bears the name of its founder, Lazarus Hammond, who established the village in 1827. It was incorporated in 1856. With a permanent population of just about 600 as of the last census, Hammondsport is steeped in rich history. In fact, Governor Kathy Hochul last month recommended the Village of Hammondsport Historic District for recognition by the State Board for Historic Preservation. It's perhaps best known for the lake and the many wineries that line its shores, and for arguably its most prominent citizen ever, Glenn Curtis. Born in 1878, Curtis was a pioneer in not one but two fields, American motorcycles and aviation. Despite his formal education ending at the 8th grade, Curtis early on showed his penchant for invention, creating a stencil machine for the forerunner of Eastman Kodak. But most of his adult life was spent pursuing a need for speed, be it on the ground or in the air. From a job as a Western Union bicycle messenger, he started racing and building bikes. As the 1900s rolled around, he got rolling with motorizing those bikes. By 1903, he'd set a motorcycle land speed record of 64 miles per hour. For the next few years, he focused on refining those early motorcycle engines. By 1907, a V8-powered cycle of his design shattered another land speed record, clocked at 136 miles per hour. But simultaneously, Curtis began to become more involved in the idea of powered flight. Historian Dr. Robert Archibald.
When people were looking around for initially engines that would propel a dirigible, which is a gas-filled balloon, somebody mentioned Curtis's engines, which had tremendous power but were relatively lightweight.
Curtis first teamed with another famed inventor, Alexander Graham Bell, as part of a group designing flying machines. Wright's designs quickly proved themselves too. He won a race at the world's first international air meet in France and made the first long-distance flight in U.S. history. His operations eventually teamed up with those of perhaps the only better-known fledgling flight company, founded by the Wright brothers, to form the Curtiss Wright Corporation, which played a key part in the growing role of aviation in America's military, building aircraft for the U.S. Army and Navy in the years leading up to World War I. Some consider Curtiss the father of American naval aviation. Archibald says Curtis's role in the development of flight cannot be overstated.
He's the popularizer, he's the inventor, he's the promoter, and the very visible symbol of the dawning of the age of airplanes and aircraft when human beings took to the sky for the first time.
Of course, the alluring waters of Cayuga Lake are also part and parcel with Hammondsport's history and charms. First, it provides a unique climate that has given rise to a thriving grape-growing industry and associated wineries. Hammondsport boasts the oldest winery in the Finger Lakes, Pleasant Valley, established in 1860. 8 of its buildings are on the National Register of Historic Places. It also has some fascinating corporate history intertwined with the likes of the Taylor Wine Company and even Coca-Cola. But the waters of Cayuga offer more than prime grape-growing real estate. Hammondsport is the southern launching point for a boater's paradise and home to the Finger Lakes Boating Museum. Museum President Edward Whiteman tells Spectrum News,
"The history of boating in the Finger Lakes is rich. It was our life. It fashioned how people lived. You could take your goods from Cayuga Lake and go all the way up to the Erie Canal and then be on and take them to New York City, Buffalo, wherever you would like to go. So we were connected to the world by water."
The museum boasts a collection of about 200 boats, most of which were built right in the Finger Lakes. So whether your thing is getting around on the water, on a motorcycle, or flying through the air, Hammondsport, New York is a great place to land. You've been listening to Family Life Hometowns, a look at the cities, towns, villages, and burgs that make up the Family Life listening area. Please join us again next time for another edition of Family Life Hometowns.